Hey y'all, good afternoon. Welcome back to Growing Roots. Hope everybody is having a wonderful chilly day. It's chilly where we're at, but it's supposed to warm up very nicely. Low 70s I seen on the forecast coming up for Saturday, so excited about that. Here is the finished progress of the chicken run for the girls. I even got them a little dust bath area that I don't think that they have figured that out yet. So anyways, but if you've seen the title to the last video, I titled it Chicken Chores, the True Test of a Marriage. And if you know, you know. But this Premier One fencing, it's wonderful. Like we enjoy the fact of how I can't think of the word, but it's not a permanent structure and everything. But like I was telling y'all, with the rocks that we've got around here, it's tough to get the poles in the ground a lot of the times. And so anyways, if you know, you know what I'm talking about. But I'd also have heard too that you go through something very similar remodeling your home. So anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, we got it all done, and the girls are really enjoying it all. This is actually 2 fences that we have connected together, and so they have very spacious room to move around and to be chickens in. So, but we're getting ready to head into town. As you see my purse and my coat on. I'm looking forward to the day where I can update you on our living situation. But of course, right now you guys see that we are still in the old trusty Montana. And there is never a doubt in my mind that God brought us to this camper. He knew what we were gonna face. He knew how long we were gonna be in it. Nothing came as a surprise to him, and he ordered our steps in this, I have no doubt. And we're just trusting and believing that God's gonna continue to open up those doors for us and to shut doors that we don't need to walk through. You know, I can do, there's just so many things, like probably hundreds of things that I can think about that I could do in a day, and I just have to take it to the Lord every morning. And there's a verse that says, order my steps in your word, and let not iniquity have dominion over me. And I just pray that he would do that he would continue to order my steps, because my ways are not his ways are not my ways, and his thoughts are not my thoughts. And so a lot of the times I will begin to do something, and you know, while it may not be a sinful thing, but it's just not for that season and for that moment. And I'm reminded of the verse in Proverbs, a few verses, that says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. And so I try to rely upon that verse and rely upon him, because my understanding is futile and I don't understand so many things. And then not just that, but it's such a huge weight lifted off of my shoulders and our shoulders if we just trusting God. Give it to God. Give it to Him. Let Him carry us. Let Him see us through. And He will do just that if we allow Him to. And He's a gentleman. He's not going to push Himself on us. He's not going to force us and to serve Him and to live for Him. It is a daily choice that we have to make, picking up our cross, taking up our cross, and following Him. And I just praise Him for that today and thank Him that His word is true. His word is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. And I am thankful for that today. So, like I said, we are getting ready to go into town, and so I'm just gonna take you along with us and continue our conversation in the truck. I think Jason's about here. So yeah, it's, oh, not just chilly, but it is windy as I'll get out today too. And we're actually in a fire hazard warning. And you know, I think it said until like early afternoon, like 1, so it's almost over. But hello. Is she not expecting that? I see. All right, nice and warm in here. Oh, that's for sure. Let me get on my seat belt so we can be safe. Okay. Okay, just 1 minute. I'm gonna set y'all down. Y'all didn't need to see that all crazy look and everything from me getting the seatbelt on. Oh man, not too terribly tired today, but a little bit. Anyways, today starts day 16 of my journey to GAPS in more of a nourishing traditions way of eating. And so these stepping stones that we are doing on Sunday, we added ferments this week. So adding ferments to our dinner along with meat stock. And so like I said, I don't know if I've said it, I was talking about being tired. Anyways, I have been feeling better since the last update, I think it was, that I provided, where so I definitely was able to pinpoint to see that I was definitely having die off and needed to back off on certain foods that I had begun incorporating, because I kind of got ahead of the game anyways. You know, this is a slow process, a work in process, and but I'm not feeling extremely tired like I was then. My elbow pain isn't as severe as those several days. So all of that is good. So I am back to my baseline of how I normally feel in a day. So we are adding fermented vegetables with our dinner, like I said, and so I will begin to incorporate yogurt back in. If I'm still feeling this well, I'm planning on doing that tomorrow. So just beginning to add more gut nourishing foods into our diet a little bit at a time, and just makes it easier. And I say that kind of laughingly because my husband and I just had a really it was a good conversation. Like, I have just been really stressed out, and so he just asked me what all the things have I been stressed out about. And thinking about this and looking back, I mean, that one video, I don't remember which one it was, but I was just listing all of my ailments, all of my pains, everything negative I just felt like. And while I want to know those things because that will help me in the future, like, hey, you used to struggle you used to have this pain all the time, and while I think those things are good, I just felt like my whole video was just negative Nancy video. No offense to any Nancys out there, but anyways, it's just been a real stressful time for me for a few years because we have a lot going on, and haven't been able to share everything with y'all, but I believe that one of these days that I'll be able to share more with stuff. But anyways, so back to this whole food thing. I'm really appreciative of the fact of having a certified health gut coach, and the opportunity to be able to talk to someone who knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, has what's the word? History, just, and this isn't like some, what are those called, pyramid marketing scheme things. Like, this is legit food. This is nourishing food, and I'm just appreciative of having her be there basically to hold my hand, and because she is making this in a way that is feasible for people like me, because at this point, I'm very stressed out already with other things. And so by making it a little bit at a time and learning a process and a rhythm, like, for example, our evening meals, that has been my biggest struggle, is figuring out. And a person can do a list. They could do a they could do a meal plan and everything and have that, but then that's just an extra step of something to do, and something else to add to the plate, something else to be stressed out about, something else to be stressful, and sometimes that makes all the difference, and sometimes that helps. And so, okay, I'm gonna hop back on here in a second. We're at the bank. All right, I am back. So as I was saying, I I'm appreciative of the fact of this process being slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race, right? And because it's real easy to add on to my stress and to really become overwhelmed with all of everything that's going on. And so so instead of, one of the things that I've really been trying to think more and like analyze more like during this process, like what have I been learning during these 3 weeks. And one of the things is there's some Easter flowers bloomed, but one of the things is beginning to listen to my body and allow it to be telling me what it needs, instead of the other way around. So that's one of the things. And also to not like add to the stress and the overwhelm by punishing myself or putting myself down for falling into cravings, but asking myself, okay, why did I have that craving, and what can I do to not have, what can I do to replace the craving, not the craving itself, but the reaction to the craving. What can I do instead? And because sometimes how does my body feel after I have that craving? Do I feel crappy? Okay, well, that was my pathogenic flora talking and having that craving, instead of my body telling me, hey, you need this specific nourishment type of thing. And so just not being hard on myself on that, and just trying to figure out a solution for the next time, instead of just, oh, it happened, and you're just never going to beat this, or you're just going to keep having these cravings, or I'm just using cravings, but just whatever. But I've noticed that it's like peeling back layers, kind of like an onion. And I've said before, why is it that we eat one salad and we expect to lose 10 to 15 pounds just by eating that one salad, when it's a progression that has gotten us here. And here it's a lifelong. I just turned 46 this year, a few weeks back actually, and I haven't known this stuff except for the past couple of years, when I began my deep dive into all of this. I didn't know so much of this information, and I feel in a sense like we've gotten gypped, like we're getting gypped as a society, because I don't know if you guys have researched yet and looked up Weston A. Price and Nourishing Traditions, but Weston A. Price went into these countries that obviously we are a very blessed country here in America, but he went into these countries and studied these people and studied what things that they ate, and that these people were living so many years, and didn't have all of these health problems, and had perfect strong teeth, and they didn't have any of these problems like we do here in in America and from the standard American diet. And you know, I just can't help but think about what all would be different, and not just in mine and Jason's life, but our kids. Like if we knew now, if we knew then what we know now, what we're learning now, because I feel like there is so much more still to learn. I mean, that would set up our generation of kids for them to, you know, pass that down. And you know, hindsight 2020, and you know, we can just do our best now and help them out now when they want it and need it, or you know, be that way. And with our grandkids, and you know, when they're around, by feeding them nutritious food. And but yeah, so anyways, but the good news is more and more people, I feel like, are having their eyes open to this, and to just the way that the standard American diet is, and are wanting to change that, because it's, I think, our generation, or I don't know, maybe 10 years older than us, like, we're now starting to see all of these health problems, you know, diabetes and autoimmune disorders, and you know, that used to not be so prevalent and so affecting like every person. And so that just goes to show you that it's been this many years. And anyways, there's a lot there, a lot that a person could get into. And so yeah, so I am trying to think on those things that are good and that are productive. And so I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No. Well, thank y'all for hanging out with me again today. And the last video, that was a very long video. So if you made it through to the end, I applaud you. I did have to end up cutting some of that out, so it was a little bit longer. So that just kind of gives you an idea, though, about how long that it takes to, if we were to rotational graze and continue to move the girls like we had been. It takes about that long to do that. And so yeah, if you made it to the end of that video, that was amazing, because that was a long video. And alright, well, hope you guys have a good rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you guys on the next one. See ya.